got time to play. Stay focused, boy. Get your head right, and maybe get this head right. Don't make me think twice, and maybe you can get it all night. Yeah, 'cause I've been gone for way too long, and you're the only one that seems to get me right. So what you waiting on, baby? Don't slow up. Hold up, come on, baby. I need you closer. Yeah, baby. Your hands on my hips, I need you closer. Yeah, close enough to taste. Your lips on my lips, I need you closer.
We back up. Are we back up, Titi?
I think this is right.
Okay. Now, today we're gonna talk about our mothers. Is it? Are we good?
One more time. Give me a second.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna get this party started. So let's. Yeah, we good. We good.
Yay!
Okay, let me give y'all a hint of advice. If you're doing a live podcast and you want your show to be right, you have to set it right first before you push go. Because if you don't, it'll film sideways. That ain't good for your views. That ain't good. So if everybody's saying it correctly, just give me the thumbs up or the hearts. We're gonna get this party started.
The party's been interrupted.
You lying.
Hold on.
Okay, let's get. Okay, no, we still going on over here.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yep.
I want y'all to tag a mother that's in the comment section that you want to honor or if you want to watch. The drink of the day, people. This is a Roscato. Listen. And we're the only two drinking today. Everybody else is on a healthy thing. But I think red wine is healthy. One more time. So I ain't going to say who is by. If you recognize the bottle, let me just say I was out at a restaurant. And they gave me a sample and I thought it was great. So I went and bought it for us today. But this nice lady's in recovery. She's a first lady, and she's just drinking a cool drink. And my camera lady has a little bit. We're going to drink enough from both. Okay.
Okay.
So, what's your fondest memory of your mom? Who want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, hey, Mama, how you doing? Happy pre-Mother's Day.
Yes.
So, me and Michelle, we share the same mother. Can't you tell by our good? But my mom worked like 2 or 3 jobs when we were growing up.
11 hours.
Mm-hmm. And Mimi actually lived in St. Louis at the time, and I was here with her. And every weekend, she would take me out to breakfast, and she would take me to this store called Contempo. And she would take me shopping. And it would just be time that she and I shared together. And even to this day, I mean, even though I'm 27, I can still...
I thought it was 25.
I have to go up some years because, you just can't stay this fresh all the time. Even though, I'm a mere 27, I just still remember those days as being some of the most amazing moments.
I know.
Those weekends were just awesome.
What about you, Gary?
It sounds like personal time with mothers may be the key.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother too, she was a, not at the time a teacher, but a teacher aide. She was going back to school. And so she would work the same time that we were in school. And so we used to always say, Mom, could you drive us to the bus stop? You need to catch that bus. So of course, if you don't catch the bus, you're in trouble. Well, she would never be home by the time we walked home from the bus stop. But we would go around this curve, and if I saw her car in the driveway, it just did something
to know she was home.
Yes, and I knew then that she would have a treat. Well, one time she came, and kids now, they kind of get everything. Christmas is every day, and I'm guilty of it too as a mother. But I remember I had been asking for the Lionel Richie record, and she got me that Lionel Richie record. Lord have mercy. And when you opened it up, he was on his side.
Yes! Yes, indeed.
That was the best moment of my life. And I cocked it on my wall, and I kept it there until 1992.
Baby, when you cock it on your wall. What's Delana, about you?
I think my fondest memories of my mom has been each of my graduations. She really instilled in me to set each of my graduations. She really instilled in me to set goals, and so when I was able to accomplish those goals, I knew that she was really proud of that. But those were her proudest moments, I think, of my life, and so those moments stand out to me.
Well, my mom passed when I was 14, so
Okay.
I have so many different fond memories. But this one maybe seem a little crazy, but I remember it's 7 of us, and I remember one day I was crying. I said, "Mom, my sisters and brothers, they don't like me. They don't want to take me anywhere." And my mama said, "Rachel, baby, if you stop telling on them so much."
Oh, she called you the bitch.
If you stop telling so much, then I guarantee you they won't. They will take you places. And so that just stuck with me because she was a firm believer of being honest and trustworthy. And, you know, I'm a stickler for that. Just, if you're going to lie to me, don't tell me anything. So,
Yes.
you know.
I think mine kind of like yours. It was a Christmas when my mother, and this is about, we're going to get to sacrifice later, but my mom worked a lot of jobs when we were growing up. And it was one particular Christmas, I remember she came home, and you know, Houston is kind of warm, but she had this Charlie Brown looking Christmas tree, and then she gave me this New Edition Christmas album. And not knowing that was the prelude to the only thing she was going to be able to get me, because she set me down and she was like, "Now you know you're the oldest, but you know your sister not going to understand, and I can't do for both. And I'm going to take care of her, and I'll get you when I get paid." But, you know, I knew my mama, you know, she was a single parent. She had to do what she had to do, so I knew that day was never going to come. But I want my mama to know that New Edition Christmas album.
We still listen to it today.
Yes. Was
What
the
is it?
best.
Lots of happy little children waiting for sunrise.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you something. That was the best Christmas present. So that's my fondest memory of my mom. Now, what's the greatest thing that your mom ever taught you?
Man. She taught us so many great things. Cause my mom is very big on integrity, and she's very big on honesty and being smart and hardworking. So she's taught us so many things. The reason why I think the one thing that I think a lot of mothers don't teach their kids is to dream chase. And she was big on you chasing dreams. I've been singing since I was
Forever.
2. And I would be in my room singing, and she was like, "You can do or be anything you want." I was like, "My mom will be a superstar." She said, "You already are a superstar. You can be anything you want, T." And I remember such emotional moment, right?
I told you.
So I remember my mom bought me the Michael Jackson Thriller album for my birthday, and this is funny. It was used, guys, because again, I'm 27. And a Bee Gees record player. That was all she could afford. She bought it from the thrift store. But that day she instilled in me the drive to want to be an artist. Because I'm telling you, since I could talk, I've been singing. And she always said, "Sing, sing, sing." And one Christmas, she bought me the worst, at the time, y'all.
Come on now.
It was the worst Christmas gift I ever got in my life. It was a big, big box, and I just knew it was a talking Cabbage Patch. And I saved that box to the last. I mean, Mimi got everything. Breakaway, Adidas, and Pumas, and, you know, Kangos.
She's
and
exaggerating.
every gift I got, I'm sorry, Mom, and I'm just keeping it 100. It was horrible. It was a horrible Christmas. And so I saved that box, and I was like, you know, Rhonda, she gonna hook me up. And I opened up that box, and it was a globe. And I just melted like a globe.
No, let me tell y'all what she did. A globe. I don't want no globe.
Hold on, though. She had
The
foresight to know I would travel the world. There's probably maybe a few places on that globe that I've not seen. So, Mama, thank you so much for the Michael Jackson album. Thank you so much for the Bee Gees record player. I played the vinyl off of that record.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for that Globe, for instilling in me that I can do and be anything. And no matter what chapter in life I'm in, I still have that jewel inside of me. There's a fire that still burns inside of me that lets me know that I can be anyone I choose to be.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, woohoo. Okay, Gary, your turn. My eyes are sweating.
I know.
Wait
I
a
need
minute.
a tissue.
I'm gonna drink.
I think my mother, one thing that my mother has instilled in me, and it's all of those morals, but one, if I had to name one thing, is resilience. It's because, and she told me when I was 16, I had just turned 16, I got my license, and we sat in a car, and she said, Garrett, you know, everything right now you're touching is turning to gold. And I worry that when you do something, it's, you know, and it doesn't turn to gold, that you won't be okay. But I just want you to learn the lessons about getting back up. And so that determination, that drive, it's just those simple words that your mother, and it's consistent, those positive messages throughout life. You know, I look back and I think, you know, God has brought me through so many things, and he has worked through my mother to teach me how to be resilient. Because things don't go right. They're not going
all the
to,
time.
you know, and so you have to have that deep down in you to get back up and say, you know what, I'm going to tackle this another way, or I'm going head on. So if I had to name one thing.
Resilience. What about you, D?
Barbara Jean and Rhonda must have been friends in this life, because my mother, the one thing she always instilled in me, like Miss Rhonda did with Tina, is that I could be anything that I wanted to be in this life. You know, and I would test that, ask her, well, what if I want to do something that's not good, right? And she said, be the best at whatever it is that you do, no matter what it was. And so that has really stuck with me. And another thing, she really taught me independence. And what I mean by that is, regardless of the applause or the accolades that people may or may not give, she told me, you keep pushing. So my drive has always been an internal drive.
Yeah.
Whether people
His girl is competitive.
whether people have given me those accolades or not, because I think Mimi and I just had a conversation about this, because the haters do come. No
But you need
matter
them.
how well you do, you think, you know, I'm just doing my little shine in my little space, not bothering anybody else, but you're still going to have haters. And so I've had to learn to be resilient with that, Garrett. And using my haters, you said to use your haters as your motivators, right?
Yeah.
And so she really did instill those things in me. And so, Mom, I'm grateful for that. I know you're not watching Facebook Live, but I know you will go back. When I tag you, you will go back and watch this.
Yes.
So thank you for those lessons, because like Tina, I still carry that with me. I'm not 27, but I'm still young.
Rachel, what you got?
Look, I would say one thing my mom instilled in me is respect. Respect for self and respect for others.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up where when you pass a neighbor or an adult, period, oh, you better say hi. You know,
Hi, excuse me.
exactly.
I'm sorry.
And respect for my siblings. My mom made sure that we were always close. And she said one thing about it, you know, you have to be there for one another.
Yeah.
Always. And you know, it's 7 of us, so we agree to disagree about a lot of stuff. And we can be very loud and everything, but respect goes a long way. And I teach my daughters that now. You know, don't be disrespectful. If you have an issue at school with your teachers, Mom gonna take care of it. But you better be respectful. You know, don't let a teacher tell me, oh, she was very, and she said this, she was very no, because then we have an issue.
Right.
No, you be respectful.
Well, let me piggyback off that. Being a mother yourself, name one thing that you didn't like about your mother's parenting style that you now understand because you're a mother.
Woo.
Come on, y'all.
I would say catching whippings. You know, my mama used to whip us. I couldn't understand. I said back then they probably would have called CPS on her, you know. But my mama was a very firm believer that, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. And she was like, no, you know, y'all my children, I have to make sure that y'all growing up the correct way. And it was like, I used to hate, my mama used to tell us, I'm gonna spank you, I'm gonna whip you. Like she'll tell us that on a Thursday.
Yeah. Come on
you
now.
should wait till that Saturday. Oh my God, that's horrible. It's like, wait a minute. But then, you know, when, you know, like I said, my mom died when I was 14. So when I went to college, it was so many people that I met that was disrespectful to their mother.
Come on now.
And I said, oh my goodness. And they was like, oh no, I never had a spanking. I was like, oh, my mama tore us up. And so, you know, with my girls also, yeah, you know, you act up, you gonna get it.
You're gonna get it.
You know.
What y'all got?
Man.
Then I'm gonna get to y'all out there because I know y'all got something to say.
You know what, Mimi? My mama, her mama, could punish you
Ooh.
from Halloween to Christmas.
Dang.
All the
I
major
got that
holidays.
And she would only let you walk to the mailbox, which was at the end of the yard, and take out the trash.
I used to take out the trash. It took me 2 hours.
So, and when my mama punished you,
Mimi done ran off
like
the
she
bridge.
punished you big. Like one time, the lady was mean to me and she deserved it, and I probably should have did it, but I did it anyway. I cursed out the bus driver and told her I was gonna have a job.
Oh. She said, bingo, I have your job.
Yes, she did. But mind you, I had just, the bully of all bullies I had just beat up, so I felt like Bombay, Ali. I was like, and winter coat on and everything. And I popped my winter coat collar when I got on. And she drove off and I fell. And so, you know, after I got myself together, I have your job. Well, I was such a good student because my mama was just really big on you. I was like, shoot, I just beat up the bully. You know what I'm saying? Well, they kicked me off of the bus and made me walk to school. I was in elementary school. And Rhonda did not take me. She made me walk. And, you know, kids don't do that today. And it had to be, 4 miles?
Yeah, it was long.
4 or 5 miles.
Oh, wow.
And I was in the 3rd grade. Oh, and it was a bayou that you could go and cut half the walk. And she said, I'm watching you. You take that bayou.
So
I'm gonna know. So the lesson is,
yeah, what's your parents there?
now I know those punishments when you're a parent, sometimes you just gotta do it. And it may hurt, but at the end of the day, it's gonna teach your child respect and to know that, man, I just can't get away with everything that I do.
So do you feel like when you punish your child, I'm gonna get to y'all. When you punish your child, you feel like you on punishment too?
Man. So Jay can drive, you know what I mean? And so I will let him use my car. Well, if he out of line, you can't use my car. Now I gotta wake up at 6:40 to take you to school. I'm trying to preserve my safety. But if I gotta get up that early in the morning, and it doesn't feel good though. You know, when you punish your kids, it never feels good. They feel like, oh, you punishing me and it's hurting just me. No, it hurts both of us.
What they got to say out there in the mean streets of Facebook?
Nobody said anything. Yeah, they just watching us.
They're quiet.
They quiet.
Oh, they quiet?
They're there though, but they're quiet.
All right, so come on with your mama. Because I met your mama. She's off the train.
Yes. So my mother, as a single parent, she had no time for emotions. And I'm an emotional being, you know. And so I felt like she did not nurture me the way I needed to. Like if I wanted to cry, it made her uncomfortable. And crying makes her uncomfortable now. So she'll say, go ahead, cry, let it out. I'm going to come back in 5 minutes. And so, you know, I understand, like, when you go through tough times, and I have all boys.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be woo-woo-woo with them, but at the same time, they're going to grow up to be men.
Yeah.
And, you know, luckily my husband is there to help them, raise them to be men. But sometimes I got to be hardcore and say, suck that.
And I'm going to be back in 5
minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but, you know, you get, I always tell them, you got to, you going to grow up and be a man. I'm not saying not to cry. But you can't wallow in it. You need to, you know, get in your feelings, let it loose, but then get up. So that's what I thought.
What about you, D?
The thing that I hated, and I still don't understand it to this day, Barbara Jean would say this: do as I say and not as I do. Didn't like it then, don't like it now.
But do you do it today?
I did not do that today, Sean. I really tried to be a good example, not a perfect example, but a good example for him. So the things that I wanted him to do, I modeled that for him. At least I think I did. Hopefully he's not on Facebook Live because he might tell us something different. But,
I need you to tell the truth, Deshawn.
But that's what I did. So, do as I say, not as I do. I didn't like that. So I didn't institute that
something?
in my parenting.
Yeah, so we have Paula said, I hate punishing my daughters. And Caesar said,
Andre.
Your
husband.
Andre
He's gonna say
said,
something crazy.
Shit. It don't hurt me. He said, I'm going to punish that behind and keep it moving.
Yes, it is.
That is such a man's
Yeah,
response.
that is.
Okay, so ladies, I'm the only one at the table that does not have children. So I'm going to ask y'all this very important question. How did it feel when you found out you were pregnant?
The first time, a second time?
Oh, yeah.
Anytime,
Oh, okay.
anytime.
Oh, I was
And just jump in.
Oh, I was a senior in college, and I was like, who? But you know, we
What
playing
just
house. We had just moved into an apartment together. You play house, you get caught. I'm
No,
like,
don't tell
oh,
me
no.
Yeah, don't say that to me.
Oh, well, that's the truth. Well, let's just say from my
senior made that move.
I got caught.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
and I was very scared. I was like, oh my goodness, what? And then what made it worse, I was like, 3 months. And he decides he's going to tell my family. Okay? My brothers. Okay, I have 2 brothers. He wasn't going to let me tell him. So he's standing outside telling my brother, yeah, you know Rachel having my baby, huh? And I was
Go
like,
Trey! Go Trey!
no,
And
I was like,
Andre, we still know you.
I said, what did you? And my brother's like, what? What you talking about?
So
But-
she having my baby.
And that's how he was like, oh, he gonna post his chest like, yeah, you know your sister had my phone. My goodness. But I was scared. I mean, I was just like, oh, wow, you know, because my mom was deceased. And of course I have my older sisters, but it's like, wow.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic.
Come on, what about you? Anybody else?
I was scared.
You were scared?
26 and scared. Real grown, working as a professional, but was scared. It was unexpected. So you were an unexpected surprise, Deshaun, and Mommy loves you. But yeah, I was scared. Initially, I cried when I found out. And so I had to have that moment. But I sucked it up and said, uh-oh, we have a situation. And so grateful to God for his grace through that. I was applying to grad school at the time, and so I had to put that on hold for a year. Had my son, and then took him to grad school next
Amen.
year. So we made it happen.
And sidebar with that, you heard her say she went to grad school with her son. Don't be talking about I can't because I got a baby.
He was
People
8
in
months old.
school
They
and have kids all the time.
Yep.
Achieve your dream,
Absolutely.
even if you have a child.
That's
What about you too?
I would say I didn't know I was pregnant. I had my mother lost her brother in December,
Okay.
and then 4 months to the day she lost her youngest brother. And so at the funeral, on the way to the funeral, at the last brother's funeral, I was walking and people. I'm already heavy chested up top, and you know people said. My aunt said, "Whoo, baby, you sure do look full up there. You pregnant?"
Oh,
And I was just thinking, that is so rude at a funeral. We are at a funeral, and I didn't know at a funeral. I didn't know at that time, but you know, I will say I found out a week after the funeral that I was pregnant, and God just works in mysterious ways because my mother had lost her oldest and her youngest brother, and here we are going to invite a new family member, and so it was
And
right
you
on
had a
time.
son.
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Montana?
She was 11.
she only told
She's
you
27.
When I found out, first of all, I think family members were probably more shocked that I was pregnant.
I was.
For some reason, they thought I was Mother Teresa. Like I was just this innocent girl, and I was a good girl. I mean, I'm a good woman, but I didn't want kids. I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they smelled. I didn't want to keep them. I didn't understand it, and so
I wanted a plethora.
when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, no, let's take another one. So I think I took about 3 or 4 tests, and I was just like, man, I don't know how. Later on in life, I want to be a thought and, travel around. And now I have to be responsible for another human being and live a good life all the way through my life and to be an example to somebody. That wasn't my dream. But
That's why God bless you. right
because
track.
I was a good girl, and I was like, you know, when I hit about 40, 45, I'm just gonna thought it out. I'm gonna date younger. You know, I'm gonna live that second half of my life on the upswing. You know? And now I can't do that because he's watching. But I will say, and I know y'all can all agree with me on this one. Like, they're such a blessing.
Oh,
They
yes.
are.
You know, he's just,
Oh, yes.
he's funny. For the first half of his life, I was a single parent, and Mimi, whether she tells y'all or not, that's her baby too. You know, it was just like a community raised this kid, and it's a blessing. But if you're watching, I wasn't really excited enough.
So I'm gonna piggyback off that. What's the first feeling, thought, or emotion you felt when you laid your eyes on your child?
You really want my honest opinion?
I can't even.
I was there, so we're gonna skip you. We're gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
What was your first feeling, thought, or emotion when you first laid eyes on your child? Just jump in.
I had to have a C-section, so when they was willing me to recovery, Dre was there. He holding the baby, and I'm like, oh, she's beautiful. So I mean, I was just like, it was just love at first. Oh wow,
Yeah.
unbelievable,
That's
unbelievable.
interesting.
What was your? Come on, give me that.
My first thought was, whose little white baby? My mother asked me, is there something that you need to tell us? Because my son was white, and I said, did they bring the right baby? Because I wasn't sure he was my son. And the humor in that is, I have a tall, dark chocolate, handsome son today.
Yep, you better watch them.
But he was
Rolos,
a
they gonna be
little
on.
white baby when I had him. So my first thought was, whose little
baby?
white baby was
What
that?
about you, Garrett?
My first thought was, what is it? No, well, let me just say, because I had a lot of people down there, and I was the only one. Everybody in my family knew that I was down there.
Okay,
So everybody's like, oh wow, this, yes. And I was like, well, what is it?
Because you didn't know if you was having a
Oh,
boy or a
yeah,
girl.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I left that part out.
Yeah, that was good though, the way it came out.
Yeah,
So looking at it, what is
What is it? Yeah.
I know the truth. What about you,
So
Marcel?
instead of me telling the story, we're gonna let Mimi tell the story because she was there.
Okay, so I was sitting there. The doctor told me, excuse me, could you scoot over so I could deliver the baby? And I was like, oh, look at the beautiful birth canal. And then we had a It's a Girl baby shower. And when James, and the baby's name was going to be London Elijah. And
Elijah.
And if it was a boy, it was supposed to be Paris Elijah. Elijah. Okay, I'm going to get that. You got it. So Tina was like, her and her child's father, she was like, if I have a boy, you just name it what you want. I'm having a girl. So the baby comes out and it's a boy. And all three of us at the same time go, it's a boy. And he grinning. So they take the baby out. First of all, the cord was wrapped around JJ's neck, so they had to cut the cord. And they put the baby on Tina's chest. And you know the baby has a lot of goo on it. And she was like, oh my God, can you get this baby off of me until you wipe it down? Oh my God. And I was like, what? So they wiped the baby down. They finished doing what they gonna do.
It is true. It is true.
And I was the first person to hold the baby.
So they did put him on me, but again, I have just a tainted taste of OCD. And even though that is my goo,
Yeah.
I don't want it out of
yeah.
my neck and chest. But I will tell y'all, the first day we went home together, that night, he was in his little bouncing play. He wasn't in his crib. And I was laying on the couch. We was in the living room. And I just kind of looked at him and was like, so, I mean, like, what do you want from me? I mean, like, are you gonna do anything? And he just kinda, you know, they really can't see you, so he was just kinda looking up at me, and I was like, I mean, because you ain't doing nothing. Are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And then, so you know how mama say, "Oh, I fell in love."
I did.
First time. I was like, I
because like you, even though my mom was living, I didn't have little brothers and sisters around me, and I didn't take care of younger I was the youngest cousin, so I didn't know what to do with the baby.
Took my babies to grad school. Somebody's just laughing. Yeah, but you know, it's like you I don't know you, man, and here you all asking me for something.
I thought it was supposed to be instant, like it was.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was. I was worried.
That shocked me. Unlike you, though, I found out 3 weeks before I had him that he was a girl. I mean, that he was a boy. He was supposed to be a girl. That's what they told me. We had a girl baby shower too.
Ultrasound.
And then
everything.
they said it's a girl. And then the next time I go for an ultrasound, doctor's like, I said, what's that? You know, because you see this big sac on the ultrasound. He's like, oh, that's his scrotum. She can't have a scrotum. You told me it was a girl. Same doctor. And my mom said, well, maybe you're having twins. No, not doing that. Not doing that either. So Deshaun was a boy. And so I had 3 weeks to process that. And I wasn't ready for that. As a single mom, you know, I was real comfortable thinking I was having a girl. Once I found out it was a boy, I said, uh-oh. You know, and I mean, his dad was present, but it was a different ball game. Yep. As a mom, it was a very different ball game when you're raising a young man versus
especially by yourself as a single mom.
Yeah.
So let me see if I'm gonna skip around. Okay, no, I'm gonna stick with the scrap. Name one thing you would like to thank your mother for.
Unconditional love. Because I'm not perfect, but even if I feel at my lowest, I call her and even if I try to fake it and say, hey, Ma, how you doing?
They know it?
She said, what's wrong with
you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
And it's just that just that she loves me no matter what. And I've called her a couple times where I should have been locked up quietly. And I'm glad that my employees ain't watching this. But I should have been locked up. And my mother she said, you know, Garrett, she just loved me no matter what. And that's what I teach my kids now. You got to tell me the truth. I got to know the good and the bad, because I can't have your back if you don't tell me. I can't have your back. I'm not saying that I'm gonna go to jail with you, but I can't support you if you don't tell me the truth.
Yeah,
so
amen.
that unconditional love.
What y'all got? Who want to go?
I would say the love for the Lord, because you know I grew up Catholic, but one thing about it, we were always at church, and I thought, oh my God, we gotta go to church.
Short service.
It's too much, you know. Yeah, and it was a short service, but we went like maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and then on the weekends we had catechism. It was like, oh, this is too much. But she taught us about God, about Jesus, and I was in college, and people really didn't know the true meaning of like Easter and other things. I'm like, what?
We was raised in church.
Oh, and always, you know, she was you always depend on God. No matter what, baby, the love of the Lord.
That's it.
What you want to thank Miss Barbara Jean for?
Hey, Barbara Jean for being my biggest cheerleader in this life. Like you, Garrett, my mom has always had my back, no matter what my shortcomings have been, no matter what I've done, and I didn't get locked up, so we didn't test it to see, you know how far that love would go. But she's just always been my biggest cheerleader and has always had my back, and so I just want to thank my mom for that.
What you want to thank your mama for, TT?
Man, life.
Because she had a choice.
She had a choice. And she could have just very well walked away. I know mothers who've done it. And yet, and still, she sacrificed her life and her dreams so that we could have a better life. So, yeah, Mama, thank you for that.
What about you? Oh, you said yours.
What about you?
Yeah.
I want to thank my mama for being resilient. I mean, I know everything that she has gone through with my dad, with jobs being laid off, sacrifice. You know, we're going to talk about the sacrifice of a parent. You know, you don't really understand the sacrifice until you become an adult and you realize your mama went out without meals so you can have meals. Your mama went without clothes so you can have clothes. You know, your mama had sleepless nights. You know, it was nights where, you know, my mama worked 3 to 11, 11 to 7. If you do afternoon to 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, and she had to really trust and believe in God to know that when she came home, her house was going to still be standing, that her kids wasn't going to go through craziness while she was at work, that she wasn't going to go to jail, because we were kids, we were teenagers. I was pretty much, and now that I look at, I was raising her. You know, we had to cook for ourselves. You know, we did the Thanksgiving meals. We did the Christmas meals. And we were grateful to be able to do it because she didn't have time to do that. She was keeping a roof over our head. So I thank you for being resilient, for not letting life, because I know it was hard, not letting life, you know, destroy you. And because, you know, you could have checked out. You could have been like, okay, you go live with your grandmother, you go live with your auntie, and because my mama was brilliant. Okay, let's just say this. I was a CD student. F. It was like the music chords.
No.
And my mother was an honor roll student. She didn't get A's, she got H's. Her report, I watched my mom when I was in the 4th grade graduate from college. And her report cards came and it had H, 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 H. I'm like, what the hell is an H? Oh, that's honor roll, baby. And then I gotta go get these D's and F's, dynamic and fabulous, and then I got to show that to you. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, even when I did that, she never be like, oh, God, you don't. She was like, baby, it's okay.
She was the most, wasn't she patient though?
It's okay. I know you did your best. And I'm looking at her like, well, I really didn't. It wasn't until later I figured out I just learned differently. You know what I'm saying? And then when I went, you can do and be anything, because I got my GED in 10th grade. I was supposed to be going to my senior year. I was supposed to be going to 11th grade, but I stopped. I said, school wasn't for me. She came home. I'm sitting on the sofa. I'm telling the story, Mama. And she's like, what are you doing here? I said, I've been home for 2 weeks. She went, she checked me out. She told me I was going to get my GED and I was going to go to cosmetology school. I said, but I don't want to do hair. I'm a superstar. I want to be a singer and a rapper. We had a group together. She was like, you going to be a star, but you're not up in my house. I'm tired of these people coming to my house. You tearing my house up in my kitchen doing hair. She made me go to cosmetology school. I regretted her for that. But that was the best choice she could have ever made for me. And then when I got my GED results back and I graduated in 99 percentile of my class, everything 12th grade level, she was angry. She was like, how come you couldn't do this in school? I was like, well, I just didn't really put forth no effort. I was playing. So, and she was patient with that. She was patient with that when I got my cosmetology results back and I graduated 100. And she was like, Bingo, you're really smart. I was like, I guess if that's what you want to call it. So, let's say this. What advice would you give an expecting mother? What advice would y'all give an expecting mother? Let's start with y'all.
First thing I would say is enjoy the journey and cherish all of the moments. As a young mother, I didn't want to be a mom at the time, and so I didn't like doing the kiddie things. Right, so I would shovel they shine off to a friend. Yeah, they're going to do this. You can go see Barney. You know, so that was, and if I had that to do over, I would cherish those moments more. So cherish every moment that you have and record every moment. You've got incredible technology today. Record everything, so that you always have those memories of your kids when they're smaller.
I would say just, you know, I think when I started off, I wanted everything perfect. You know, the nursery to look a certain way. And then my son, you know, kids, they dirty. They just, they into stuff. And I don't touch that. And so I didn't allow him the first 3 years to really be the child, the infant, the toddler that he could have been. And, you know, that I think that affected our relationship. Now we're in a better space now that he's 15, but you know, I didn't allow him to be a child, and so don't get caught up in what things should look like. You know, what a nursery, how clean it should be. Ooh, don't touch yourself because you got chocolate. You can't get your outfit dirty. The kids, you know. So don't get caught up in how things look. Just nurture that childhood, because that is the pathway to adulthood. So that's good.
I would say have patience through each. Because kids go through so many different transitions in life, especially
boys.
and if you're a single mom and you're, you know, they're going from being the sweet innocent little kid to the teenager to adulthood. So be patient, because they don't even know, and I know Delana, she can agree, we have some big boys. So sometimes they're in adult bodies and they can't get used to, they're trying to get used to that new body. So just be as patient as you can possibly be. And just like I had to realize my mom was a human being, remember that your children are human beings.
What about you, Miss Rachel?
I would say it's okay to be scared. Because they don't come with a manual. It's not like you can read everything and, hey, I'm going to do it this way. It's okay to be scared, because guess what? You're going to get it right. You know, trial and error. Just keep being you, loving your child, doing what you need to do as a mother. As a mother, that feeling is just so wow.
Yes,
real.
Indeed.
You know, and just, you know, trial and error. You can be scared. It's okay.
You're right.
Can I say something? He just sent me his location.
Oh, look at that! There we go. So, Delana, you said somebody got something to say?
Yeah, so Angie says there's so much going on in Houston and all over the world. As a mother, I worry more about my kids as an adult than I did when they were babies. Now I know how my mom felt when I was younger.
That's true.
So you remember that when your mom would stay up until you got in the house?
We was coming up, let's just keep it
why you
real.
still up?
Okay, we was coming up, we didn't have, it was before the beeper, it was before the cell phone, and you left, you call me when you get to so-and-so house, yes ma'am, and let me just say, let me drink first, hold on.
Mimi wasn't checking in.
Oh, no,
Oh, Mama.
I went to every party. That was when we had house parties or we had parties in the clubhouse. You paid $2 to get in. They used to have to come get me from the party. I'd be, get it. And my cousin Kim would be like, Mimi, Rhonda said it's time to home. Just give me a minute. I'll be there in a minute. You had to, it's like you had to trust. Shut up. You have to trust. Like now, these kids can be like, Mama, I made it. Mama, I'm on my way. We didn't have that. That's what I miss, like the innocent times. So let's talk about, name one of your mama's sacrifices. Or name one of your sacrifices that your kid don't understand. Let's do the parallel.
Before we do that, I'm going to read this. Rhonda Cooper is my mom. She said, remember, that's your baby. Don't let someone else train him or her. Give them the information they need to go through life. Listen when they talk to you and be fair. Now,
Miss Rhonda.
I made a huge sacrifice to take care of and so I have a bonus daughter. Let me say that too. And I love you, Ariana, if you're watching, baby. I have a bonus daughter. When I got married, she came into my life. And I had to make a huge sacrifice. I traveled for a living, and I will be gone for long periods of time, anywhere from 2 months to 6 months. And so that was my sacrifice. And I would beat myself up on the road for not being present when special things would occur. And they can tell you this. And so I had to make a living.
Yeah.
I'm not a college graduate, and just like Mimi, I got my GED.
But she was smart.
And I didn't have a choice to get it. Some things occurred when I was in high school, and so that was, my mama said that was my only choice. I couldn't go to public school anymore. It's just a little fight, that's all, but, you know. I'm innocent. But I don't think your kids understand that that's a sacrifice as a working mom. You know, that you miss so many things. And even though I made good money, my son said something to me one day, and it broke me down to tears. He said, I'd have slept in a car with you. That's how much I missed you. Wow. So that was my sacrifice, and I knew that my kids were suffering because I wasn't there. Yes, they had everything they wanted in the world, but they wanted me to be there.
But it's okay. You did what you were supposed to do
Absolutely. That's right.
to be a mother, to provide what they needed.
Man, I wasn't gonna do this.
I told him we need a Kleenex. So what can a parallel? Your mama sacrificed, and now you understand because you had a sacrifice.
I would say my mother sacrificed in Cincinnati. That's where I'm from. There's a school called Walnut Hills, and you test into it, and the smart kids go to Walnut. And my husband went to Walnut. I would have met him there. I would have met him anyway because that was destiny. But anyway,
Come on, Walnut.
I didn't pass the test. But fast forward to 9th grade, I went to public school. I went to a rough middle school, and I told my mother, I said, I want to go to Roger Bacon, which was a parochial school. She said, okay. I had to work at school, but I didn't know at the time she took another job to help support. She didn't say, I'm sacrificing for you. She did it because I asked, and she said, you need to make good grades. You need to do your best and make good grades. And so she sacrificed that way for me. She sacrificed sleep, she sacrificed her time in terms of, how she had to juggle studying. She had 2 other children that she had to take care of. And probably other things that I don't even know. And that's what mothers do. You don't tell what you sacrifice.
Come on now.
Well, I actually told my kids what I sacrificed. So, what I've sacrificed, and my children will, I don't say it as much anymore, but I say, I make sure y'all got shoes, clothes, a roof over your head, and I wear holy drawers. I got holy underwear. That was just it was just my way of saying
I will
give
you everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I won't wear underwear to make sure that you're taken care of. That was an analogy for my children. But they took it seriously because they bought me some Victoria's Secret. So, right. So she don't have to say that anymore. Yeah, that was
those Victoria's Secret.
Right.
They went to the right place.
Right.
Give me one of them.
What you have?
I would say I really didn't understand. Well, 2 things. Growing up, when I had to go without, and my mother said, "We're going in this store. Don't ask for anything."
Yes.
My response was just always okay. And I think that used to break her down because I wouldn't pitch a fit about it. If you said I couldn't have it, then I just couldn't have it. Now, fast forward to when I was leaving high school, going to college, I'm interviewing for scholarships, and a lot of times they want to know the household income. And so, as you know, I would give my little applications, go to my little committee meetings to be interviewed. They'd be like, is this all the income? Yeah, that's it. Whatever she put on the paper. Well, I didn't know until I got ready to go to college. I was being raised below the poverty line.
Come on now.
Didn't even know what the poverty line was because we lived in a brick home. You know, I was in the hood, but it was a nice neighborhood. We had a car. I thought we were fine. So it wasn't until I was going to college that I really understood the sacrifices that my mother made. Now, what that really did for me, and I was sharing this with Mimi, that was part of that instilling drive that I have, because one thing I made sure was that my son would never have to go without. And so my thing was to get to 6 figures as quickly as I could, whatever degrees it took, however I needed to make that happen, short of being on the pole or the stroll. Then I was willing to do that.
Hold it up. They like
And
this
so I worked really hard in school to make sure that those things happened, and I don't think my son understands that level of sacrifice that took place, because he didn't have to go without a lot of things. But that was my drive for that, because I knew that my mom really struggled to make things really happen.
I think our children, then you expose them to a different life than we had, and they see they're surrounded by that, so they drive like everybody got a Mercedes. Okay, what? I'm supposed to have a Mercedes.
Come on now. I'm having a show on entitled children, because
Yeah.
this generation, they are truly
They
entitled.
think that it's supposed to be.
It's a microwave situation, and they think I asked for it, I got it.
That's right.
Right.
They supposed to get it. So we gonna do that show sometime in June. Y'all be ready.
Right.
Come on,
I
talk
would
about
say
your
basically, I
sacrifice.
sacrifice my freedom.
Yeah.
Sacrifice, sleep, everything, because when I had my children, it was, hey, it's all about them.
Yeah.
And even till today, it's still all about them.
Yeah.
My middle daughter, she blessed us with a grandson. And
So
it's like, she'll say when she goes out 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm texting her, where are you? You know, and she's like, Mom, can you just chill?
You don't understand because
I can't chill. You understand? You're my child. I need to make sure that you're home. And she's like, you know, even my youngest who's away in college, you know, it's like constantly, you know. So I feel like, you know, my freedom was gone when I had them, and you know, still to this day, I wouldn't change it for a world. Though, you know what? I have to give it up again. I have to give it up again.
I know that's right. I'm gonna talk about because this is my sister. This is my sister in Christ, sister from another mother. I watched her before she traveled the world. Well, she had traveled, then she stopped, and then she started to travel again, and she went through this patch. And I remember she would have Sunday dinner every Sunday, and I'll be looking like, but this girl wasn't eating. She made sure that she had Sunday dinner for her baby, so he could understand what fellowship and family were. We all came from different places, so we would all get together. Like we did the potluck party, and then we would get together at each other's homes, and everybody would bring something, and we would have dinner together. And I mean, she would go all out. Yeah. Girl can burn. She go all out, cook. But I knew that when she sat in her quiet time, she was wondering, how am I going to take care of this baby? How am I going to take care of this baby? And then she looked up. She had a great job. She was blessed to bless him beyond measure. Then this girl right here, I know. Okay, my mom moved here the first time I was going to the 5th grade. And I stayed in St. Louis. And then I came back, and my mother moved back here, and I didn't come. And I watched my mother sacrifice leaving us behind because she didn't want to take us the second time around because she didn't know. Let me just sidebar, my dad was an addict. So when my parents moved here the second time, my mother ended up homeless, living out of her car. And she left her kids behind because she didn't know what her situation was going to be. Because she was following her husband, she was like, okay, I'm going to leave my kids with my mom until I get on my feet. Fast forward to her, when her son became a teenager, she sacrificed letting him live with his father because he was at that pivotal age. He would always ask, or D would always ask, Mom, I want to go live with my dad. And I think he did because he would spend summers and vacations there, and he would get treated special. But when that's your permanent parent, that special go out the window. But I know, because I watched how she loved him so, I know it was hard for her to let him go. And that's a sacrifice. I watched my mom sacrifice her time. My mama could have been a journalist. She sacrificed herself for us. Not only for us, for our community. She was everybody's mama. Everybody, my mama would come. Today. Yeah, she would come home from work and step over kids. And she would never ask, why are all these kids in my house? She was just like, okay, baby, just make sure you keep my house clean and make sure y'all cook something to eat. My mom was the community mother. She was. She loved everybody in the neighborhood. So she not only sacrificed for us, me and Tina sang together from like, what? 14 to 17 years old. We had a group, SGT. Don't ask me about it.
You better watch your back. We smooth.
Yeah, satisfaction guaranteed. But if it was an audition we had to go to, the money came, and I know my mama didn't have it. Yep. If it was outfits we need, we was leather down. That was when leather was hot back when Hammer days. We
Chicago,
all had.
You had the Chicago Bulls shirt.
Yeah,
and leather shorts.
And it was 4 of us in the group. And my mama bought everybody's outfits. Wow. And I know my mama didn't have it like that. The sacrifices that mothers make, or somebody who is like a mother that sacrifice for you, you don't understand that sacrifice until you old enough to be like, dang, mommy did that.
And was still, my mom was still.
She's still sacrificing now.
Yeah.
Now.
Today.
So we mothers, we just want to appreciate y'all for the sacrifice, baby, because we know you had a choice. Right. Okay, so let's do a round table. If you had an open love letter to express the love for your mother, what would it say? This is what you call a round table.
Ooh. Well, she's watching, so I would just say, you know, a lot of times people say that their children aren't their best friends, that they're not their kids' friends. but my mother and I have a special friendship. She's one of the most amazing women, and every time I see her, I see a mirror image of what I could be as a mother. You're one of the most gracious, beautiful human beings, and full of love beyond measure. You exude so much grace, and you don't even know it. You've been a mother to many. You can ask any of our friends. You just took people in. Their mothers would kick them out. You didn't say a word, and you were a Proverbs 31 woman, and I don't think you even knew it. You know, just a rare gem. When people talk about not having good relationships with their mother, I don't understand that, because it's been plenty of nights, and I mean late nights, early mornings, when I know she had to be at work, that I could pick up the phone and call her and boo-hoo about things that were going on in my life, and she never judged me. I'm a habitual dieter, and when I was little, y'all paid for Jenny Craig. So I mean, Weight Watchers, Slow Slim, Quick Fast, the Hee Haw diet, whatever it was. And anything I wanted to do, I was a bartender, y'all. I was a nail tech. I was all these things that I wasn't. But you always supported me. So if I could just say anything to you, Mama, with love, thank you so much. You have shaped me into a confident, amazing mother. And you were just the most beautiful example of what I could ever hope to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on, Garrett.
She was the first heartbeat that I heard, the first voice, her breathing. And when I think about, my mother is still here, I just, my husband tells me, Garrett, you're a morbid person, because I always try to prep myself for the worst. I strive for the best, but prep for the worst. And I can't, the air that I breathe, what I do today is to make that first heartbeat that I ever heard proud. And so that's that determination in me. I will continue to represent my mother the best that I can, because somebody's gonna say, that's Melody, that's TD's daughter. And I want to make sure, because she always told me, you don't know who I know. I don't care if you live in Houston or not at 44. I don't care. I know people. And so I want to make her proud. And so every time that I get up in the morning, the support system that I have around me allow me to move towards greatness. But I do it because of my first heartbeat that I heard, and it's my mother.
Come on now. Come on, Dee.
That's deep. I hate to follow that. A love letter to my mother would start out by saying thank you. And I would just thank her for all of the sacrifices that we've talked about, all of the things that she's done for me. I would thank her for the investment that she made in me, because she really invested a lot of time. She invested what financial resources she had, and what she wasn't able to invest, she made sure the right people were in my life to make things happen. And so I'm grateful to her for that. She was the reason that I pursued higher education. I was a first generation college student in my family, and my mother really pushed that. My mother didn't finish high school because she had my older brother during her senior year in high school, and so she really instilled that. And I don't know where she got that from or how she knew to push me to make that happen, but I'm grateful that she did, because I've had an incredible life as a result of that. And so I'm forever and eternally grateful to her for that. And then I'm grateful for her foundation of God in my life. And it wasn't, that was where she said, you do as I say, not as I do. she wasn't going to church when I was going to church as a young girl, but she made sure I went with my grandparents. And so on the usher board, singing in the choir, and I'm like, how you make me go to church but you don't go? But she had the fortitude to know that had to be a foundation in my life. And so she later came back into church and has been present, but she made sure that I had that. And so I'm forever grateful for that. And that's one of those things I did make sure my son had me. That's one thing she taught me that I made sure he saw. I didn't tell him to do it and he didn't see me do it, but he saw me do that. And so I'm grateful for that. So Mommy, thank you for everything. My mom just moved here, so I have an opportunity to pour back into her all that she has given me in my life. And so I'm grateful to have her here this Mother's Day. She's 79. And so I'm grateful for that. And so I praise God for that.
Okay, let's see. I would say my love letter would say, Mom, I love you. More than words can even explain. I lost you when I was 14 years old, but what you instilled in me, I'll carry a lifetime.
Yes.
You know, no one is perfect, but you were close to perfect. I mean, a loving, beautiful, gentle soul who didn't mind whipping you.
Come on now.
You know, but she just taught us, and me and my siblings, how to love one another, to be respectful, to just give it your all. My mom, when my mom was dying, I remember her saying she was crying, and I was like, you know, trying to be strong for my mom. I'm only 14, but she was like, I watched 5 of my babies graduate from high school, and it broke her heart that she wouldn't see her baby girls, her last 2. Well, Mama, guess what? We're doing okay.
Yes, indeed.
In Jesus' name. And I thank you. I love you. I wouldn't change it for the world. I thank God for those 14 years. I tell anyone, if your mom is still here, thank you. Jesus, give God all the glory. Because my mom, it's like I was 14 years old, like I said, but guess what? I miss her every day of my life.
Yeah.
But I know she loves me, and guess what? I'm going to see her again.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. That's it.
Whew, well, what I would say with dear Mommy, I know you could have been anything. You could have done and been anything that you wanted to do and be. And I know when you had us, you were scared. But the strength that lives and resides in you, you gave to us. And I know every day it's not easy. I watched you battle cancer twice. I've watched you deal with a man that didn't love himself enough, and you tried to love him through what he couldn't do for himself. I watched you take care of your girls, even in their adulthood, when we fail. I watched you never judge. I spent a lot of time condemning myself because I felt like I didn't live up to your standard, because you were so very smart. And I know I could have graduated high school because you were so very smart. So I worked really, really hard in my career to make you proud. And so whatever choice and decision I tried to make, I made sure would be something that would make you proud, whether if it was doing hair, singing in church, or singing in our group, or deciding to want to be a host of a podcast. And you said, no, you didn't. You said, Michelle, you can do it. Thank you for not aborting me. Thank you for being the best you that you could be for me. Thank you for showing me that no matter what the world tells you as a young black woman, that you can do and be whatever you want to do and be. Thank you for not just loving me, but loving my friends, and even loving my enemies, because a lot of the kids that came to my house, I knew they weren't my friend. Thank you for encouraging me when I found out I couldn't have kids, and you told me that it was okay. For every time Mother's Day came, you gave me a gift when I told you no, because it would break my heart sometimes, because I said I'm not a mother. But you told me that I was, because not only did I care for my nephew, you taught me to love people where they were. You taught us love, and I thank you for that. Thank you for just being you. And thank you for loving me in spite of me. Y'all, this is hashtag I'm just saying. Thank you for joining us. Love your mothers. No matter where they are. Love them where they are. Because there's no guarantee that they will be here tomorrow. Forgive. Because you can open your eyes tomorrow and your mom will be gone. Or you might be gone. So we need to learn how to love, cherish, forgive, overcome, and do and be whatever you want to do and be. Be the best you can be to make your mother or whoever raised you proud. I'm going to do the same thing on Father's Day because I know a lot of good daddies out there. Daddies get a bad rap. Every daddy ain't like mine. But I know a lot of single fathers. I know a lot of fathers that are married. I know a lot of fathers that are not married, but they still are very active fathers. Black men get a bad rap, and all black men are not bad. So when Father's Day come, I will do the same thing, have a panel of great black men around me to celebrate them as well. Remember to laugh, remember to love, remember to be the light, and always bear good fruit. This is
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Let's mention bonus moms.
Yes.
Stepmoms, moms, neighborhood moms.
Yes.
We just want to say we love you.
Yes.
I love you, Diane Cooper. You're a bonus mom.
Yeah.
Thank God for your life. It was later on in mine, but every time we have a conversation, I feel love exude through the phone. And whenever I see you, you love me. So thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to the bonus moms.
And aunties.
And
Because I
aunties who
got,
are,
let me tell you
because
something.
she is JJ's second mom.
I'm going to have an aunties day because this is terrible. You know, we don't have an auntie uncle day. We do big things. So, we're going to have an auntie day. Okay, honorary auntie day is August the 14th. That's my birthday. You might want to celebrate it. But remember to laugh. Remember to love. Remember to be the light and always bear good fruit. This is hashtag I'm just saying. God bless you. See you next Saturday.